The alley stank of old oil, fermented protein packs, and rusting mech parts. Rain beat down on the neon-lit filth of Sector 9, pooling in the broken gutters where no one looked for life, and no one expected to find it. But Arthur did. The ex-Marine-turned-mechanic had learned long ago that life had a funny way of surviving where it wasn't supposed to. That night, he heard the scraping noise before he saw her, half buried in a pile of crushed synth armor and torn wiring, coughing weakly. She was no older than 13, not human. Thin, too thin, skin a soft opalescent gray with traces of lavender pulsing under the surface. Her eyes, large and violet with a glow like starlight, locked on his. She tried to hiss, then collapsed into the trash heap. Arthur didn't think. He just acted. Chapter 1. The Girl in the Junk. Her species was unknown to Earth databases.
She wouldn't speak for the first week.
Malnourished, covered in minor lacerations and internal bruising, the girl was terrified of everything, especially men in uniforms. Arthur had brought her back to his home, a converted repair bay on the city's edge. His only companions were broken bots and a tabby cat named Wrench. The girl flinched at the cat too, at first, until Wrench curled on her lap one night and began to purr. That's when she first smiled. She didn't tell Arthur her name, so he gave her one. Lyra, he said, pointing to the star map mural above his cot. Like the constellation.
You like that?
Her nod was so small he almost missed it. Over the next 6 years, Lyra learned to speak Earth Standard, fix power coils, rebuild servo joints, and code patch old AI brains. Arthur never pressed her for details about her past. Her silence and nightmares said enough. What mattered was the present, and the future he could give her. Chapter 2. Growing up between stars and steel. Arthur never thought he'd be a father. Certainly not to an alien girl dropped into his life, like discarded tech. But somehow, the gruffness softened. He made sure she had food, a bed, and an education, teaching her everything he knew about machines, war, and staying invisible in a city that didn't care. Lyra grew fast, both in body and in mind. By 17, she could outfix most repairmen in the sector and beat Arthur at chess regularly. Her hair, once tangled and brittle, now shimmered like silver filament. Her laughter came easier, and her gaze lingered longer. Arthur noticed it, but said nothing. He still called her kid. Still tucked her in when she had nightmares. Still stood protectively between her and the world outside their metal sanctuary. But the world, as always, had its own plans. Chapter 3. The Retrieval Order. It came like a whisper through the undernet, hidden in the deep dark forums where Black Ops bounty contracts traded hands. A missing noble, a royal bloodline, believed extinct after a planetary purge. Lyra's face. Younger, thinner, but unmistakable. Arthur froze as he stared at the bounty file glowing on his terminal. The reward was enormous, enough to buy a moon sector. But it wasn't the money that made his blood run cold. It was what they wanted her for: breeding, power consolidation, reclamation of a fallen empire. They were coming for her. He stormed into the workshop, eyes fierce. Lyra. She looked up from the bench, her fingers working delicately over a busted drone. I know, she said softly. Arthur blinked. You what? I saw the file last night. I hacked the feed. I know who I am now. Or who I was. You should have told me. I was scared. Her voice cracked. Not of them. Of losing you. Arthur exhaled slowly. You're not going anywhere. They'll have to come through me. She moved toward him, not like a child, not like a daughter, like a woman. I'm not afraid, she said. Not if I'm with you. Chapter 4. I'm in love with you. They fortified the workshop together. turned it into a bunker of scrap and energy shielding. Nights became restless planning sessions. Arthur double-checked turrets and cloaking fields while Lyra upgraded their defense grid with AI subroutines she invented herself. One evening, after a long silence filled with the hum of welders and the hiss of cooling pistons, Lyra spoke. "Do you remember the night you found me? I'll never forget it. I thought you were going to sell me, like the others did before." Arthur clenched his jaw. "I never would." "I know. That's why Arthur." She stepped close. Her voice trembled. "I don't know what I'm supposed to be. I'm not human. I'm not whatever they want me to be either. But here, with you, I've felt safe. And loved." He nodded gently, his expression unreadable. "I love you," she whispered. Arthur stepped back, stunned. "Lyra, I don't mean like a father. I mean, I'm in love with you." Silence filled the shop like a pressure vacuum. Arthur looked down at the girl who had once been a wounded child in a trash heap, now standing before him, strong, radiant, vulnerable. "Lyra," he said slowly, "you mean everything to me. But you were just a kid when I found you." "I'm not a kid anymore," she said. "And I'm not confused. You showed me what it meant to be cared for without wanting anything in return. I want to stay by your side, not because I owe you, but because I choose you." Chapter 5, Firestorm. The bounty hunters came at dawn, sleek and lethal in their stealth armor. But Arthur had been ready. The first wave hit the proximity mines. The second got caught in the shocknet grid. The third made it through. They breached the main door. Plasma fire lit up the shop. Arthur met them head-on, his old marine instincts kicking in, shielding Lyra as she worked the override codes to fry the hunters' exocets. When one of the soldiers grabbed her, Arthur tackled him without hesitation, breaking 3 ribs and snapping the man's arm in a blur of violence. He got stabbed for it, deep in the side, but he didn't stop until Lyra was free. "Behind you," she cried. Arthur turned, too slow. A plasma round flared toward him. Lyra shoved him aside and raised her palm. A pulse of violet energy erupted from her body. Pure, ancient power. The air cracked and the attacker vaporized. Silence. Arthur stared at her, blood running down his side. You have powers?" She trembled. "I didn't know I could do that." He coughed, swaying. "Hell of a first time." She rushed to his side, catching him before he collapsed. Chapter 6, The Choice. When Arthur woke, he was on the cot. Cleaned. Bandaged. Lyra sat beside him, her face tired but smiling. "We did it," she said. He gave a weak chuckle. "I always wanted to redecorate with burn marks and blood stains." "You almost died. You saved me." "You always saved me first," she whispered, eyes glistening. Arthur reached out and brushed her cheek. "Lyra, I've never felt this way before. You're brilliant. Brave. And yeah, not a kid anymore. But I'm still older. Worn out. I never wanted you to feel like you owed me love." "I don't," she said. "I've had time to think. I could leave. Rebuild whatever empire they think I belong to. But I don't want thrones. I want home. And you." Arthur sat up slowly. "Then you stay. As my equal. As someone I fight beside, not for." Lyra leaned in, lips brushing his gently. It was a kiss of promise, not of rescue. Epilogue. 2 stars in the dark.